So we found an appropriate setting to do an interview with Larian Studios, and you really decked out the hall here at E3 this year for the Enhanced Edition of Divinity Original Sin. I gotta say, like, I talked to you at E3 a couple of years ago about Original Sin, and it's like, console wasn't something that I thought you would ever bring Original Sin into.
Oh, really? Because actually, if you would have paid a very close attention, you would have seen that we've been talking all the time about cooperative play. And the best cooperative play is when you both have a joystick and you sit in your couch together. And so that's what we brought here. That's why we now have local co-op with split screen, and it feels very nice to play like that.
But it feels like Original Sin is such an uncompromising game. It's not sort of catering to like more accessibility, like a console crowd, or what is believed to be the console crowd, I should perhaps just said, because I think there are a lot of...
I think, yeah. Well, accessibility, obviously, there's two levels of accessibility. There's accessibility and the ease of use of control, so we... Jesus Christ, put a lot of attention on that. I think we've had a lot of people already try it out. It's very accessible, and in the first couple of minutes you get it, how we can play it. And we've did a very good port, I think, of what we had as a core gameplay loop on the PC version. And the thing is that this is actually, apparently, somebody told you, this is the first time this comes to console. Nobody's ever done something like this before. So that's like a cool thing, and I think it feels pretty good. But in terms of the gameplay, the challenge that you did, we didn't compromise. So that's still the same. We'll have different game modes. So there's an easier mode, which is the Explorer mode. So that's we had that already on PC also. We added an extra, very difficult, very challenging mode, let's put it this way, called Tactician mode. So that's for the ones who really want to be punished. And the classic mode, that's as uncompromising as Original Sin was on PC.
So is it nice to go back to a game and sort of rework things and sort of hone it and sort of craft it a little bit extra after sort of getting it out there?
It was, we were really happy that we got the chance to do this, because when you compare what's in the Enhanced Edition now to the original version of Original Sin, which was already a lot of fun, it's like it's a completely different game. There's so much stuff that we've been able to polish. It's fully voice recorded now. There's all the skills look flashier, feel more rewarding. You have a whole bunch of extra skills for the classes that couldn't really be explored that well in the previous game. So rogues can do more stuff, warriors can do more stuff, rangers can do more stuff. So it just feels like a more complete experience, let's put it that way. And then we've also been able to touch up the story in the weaker parts that we thought. We've improved quests that we thought weren't as cool. We've improved the dialogues. We had generic dialogues in the past to save on the cost of it. Now we've made them all unique. That works very well with the voice recording. And like this, we did a truckload of changes. A lot of them also community inspired. Actually, people have been asking us to do it. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? And so now we put them in there.
Yeah, and of course, this was, you started development on your own independently. Then you came to Kickstarter and you brought it out on PC. It's like this game is sort of such a long journey for you guys. There's so many different stages and things. How do you do you feel that you made the best possible journey with the game, or was it anything that you would like to have done differently, like in hindsight?
They always say that you make diamonds under pressure, right? So we learned a lot throughout the journey, and we're still learning a lot, because we're experimenting with a lot of new gameplay systems on the RPG front. We brought it now to console. So we don't know if the reason that nobody did it before is that there's no target audience, or it is just because nobody thought of doing it. So we're going to find out very soon. I mean, we invested a lot in it, and we have our fingers crossed that it's going to work out. But it is a lot of fun.
So what have you sort of learned through this process as a developer? Is there things that you take forward now to the future and future projects?
We learned a couple of things. The most important lesson is that we have to, whatever the cost, continue working on it until it's finished. Right? So that's like the biggest lesson. We learned that there's a certain level of polish that you need to achieve, even for an RPG, even if it's hardcore, if you want people to actually be playing. Nobody wants to have to fiddle around with controls, and it takes a lot of time to start working on that, and it has to be rewarding also that consistently throughout the entire game. So when you make an 80-hour game, that's a lot of work, right? So, but if you're doing this, and if you don't do this, then you shouldn't even bother about it, to be honest. So that's probably the biggest lesson that we've learned. So whatever we're going to do now, hopefully, we're going to be able to see it through all the way to the end, and so that we can continue to produce like big RPGs that feel very rewarding when you get to the end of them.
Do you feel that sort of this experience, because I get the feeling like from the outside, and I'm sure it's very different from the inside, but that sort of your community now is very different because of the route you take with this game, with Kickstarter and everything, that you have maybe a deeper connection with the player base.
I don't know. I mean, we've always had a pretty strong community, and when we went to Kickstarter, the initial push came from them for sure. They rallied. Our biggest problem was actually getting them to know that we were doing this. And then I think that once the game came out, we converted a lot of players to try this out, because they saw like, what is this game that keeps on being on #1? I never heard of it. And then they suddenly played, oh Jesus Christ, I like this type of gameplay. We were doing a playability test in the office with a girl who'd only played Halo in her life. And so she played it on console, and she just realized that she loved this type of game, that she had never tried it out before, but it looked all so complicated. Yeah. And so hopefully what's going to happen now that it comes to console, there's other players that are going to see that like, hey, turn-based RPGs, that's my thing. And so then that's going to be good for all RPGs.
Because I do think that if there's one thing that's lacking from consoles, and this is always the case when they're new consoles, is that those deep experiences, yeah, those sort of lengthy experiences. Sure, we got Witcher 3 now that taking up a lot of our time, but there is sort of a little bit of a hunger for the deeper experiences, for the ones that you sort of have to sort of invest a lot of time in.
Well, I mean, my original pitch, which I think is still valid actually, but I failed to convince publishers back in the days, was like those Baldur's Gate players, they went somewhere, right? And a lot of them went to console actually, and they're just not being served. But there's nobody who wanted to take that risk, who wanted to try it out. And
they have kids now as well, who might want to have the same kind of game.
And you can play together with your kids, because we had a lot of parents and families that were playing Original Sin on their PC together, but it's harder when you have to play with two computers, right? So now it's really, in that sense, the accessibility is much higher. You have one console, two controllers, split screen, there you go.
And Enhanced Edition, when do you sort of target release for it?
This fall, so currently we're targeting end of October. It's already very far advanced. All the content is there. All the voice recordings are finally finished. It took us 6 months. So we have to go through the TRC mess, and if we survive that, then we'll probably hit our release date actually. That would be a first actually for Larian Studios. Well, it's never happened before in our lives, but I'm not sure, so we'll see.
You'll have to celebrate with cake if that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you very much. Take care.